Hey folks, Chris Rich, AZ Fly Shop. You bet. Welcome back. Today we're going to learn to tie the clinch knot. And I'm going to show you 5 different methods to tie the clinch knot. This is one of the first knots we learn in fly fishing. It's a knot that we use to attach our fly to our tippet. Now I'm going to use fly line to show you this knot, the first method, the basic method, the way that I learned to tie this, the way that it's typically taught for a beginner to tie this knot. There's actually 5 different ways. There's probably more variations than that. I'm going to show you this method from your view, and then I'm going to show you this method from my view. The rest of the methods I'm going to show you only with monofilament, and I'm going to show you those methods from my view, what I'm looking at. That's really the useful way that you're going to get this. So let's thread the fly line or the line through the eye of the fly. And what I generally will do is I will hold this line with these 2 fingers in my hand. So I've got a hold of them basically right like that. You can see that. Now I will bring that around my pointer finger, and I generally will use my middle finger and my thumb on my left hand, and I will take, boom, so I'm going to go there. I'm going to put the fly right on my middle finger, and I'm going to hold pressure there. Sometimes I'll actually just hold that fly in that hand, and it frees up my 2 fingers on this other hand. So here we go. I'll put that line around so you can see I've got it in my hand with these 2 fingers. I'm going to thread it up around my pointer finger, and now I can wrap that around. We're going to go 5 times around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody's got their own little method of how they like to tie this fly. I'm going to take my finger out. I'm going to come back through the loop that I formed, grab hold of that, moisten it, pull it tight, trim off the tag end, and I'm ready to go. Folks, I'm going to give you a look at that from my point of view. The rest of the knots we're going to tie just from my point of view. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully you get something out of this video. Very easy knot, very simple knot, very, very common knot. One of the first knots we learn when we embark upon fly fishing. Okay, folks, let's look at the clinch knot from my point of view using fly line to tie the knot. So I'll feed the line through the eye of the hook. I'm going to take my left hand. I'm going to put the line through these 2 fingers in my hand because there's going to be pressure held right here. Now, a lot of times when you're tying these knots, it's about holding tension and being able to do this functionally. From here, I've got them in these 2 fingers. I'm going to hold the pressure right there. I'm going to take my middle finger in my right hand, and I'm going to put it through the line and the eye of the hook right there. Hold some pressure right there. So these 2 pieces of line have got pressure held on them. Oftentimes, I'll just hold that fly in my hand. Now from here, what I like to do is I string that up around my pointer finger on my left hand. It frees up my middle finger and my thumb. That's how I like to tie this knot. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the while I'm holding pressure on this line. I'm going to pull my finger out. I'm going to take that tag end. I'm going to come back down through the loop in front of the eye of the hook. I'm going to grab a hold of that. I'm going to firm that up, pull that tight, and trim the tag end. I'm ready to go. Let's look at the additional 4 methods that I will utilize to tie this. We're going to look at those only from my point of view, and we're going to look at them using monofilament. Here is the second method I'll use to tie a clinch knot. I've already fed the line through the eye of the hook. I'm going to take my ring finger, pinky finger. I'm going to hold on to that line in my hand. I'm going to now hold the tag end in my pointer finger and thumb finger of my right hand. I'm going to take my left hand, the thumb and pointer finger. I'm going to put my finger right up next to the fly, and I'm going to just give it 5 twists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to now keep that loop open that I formed there. I'm going to bring the tag end. I'm going to grab on to that tag end. I'm going to moisten this up, hold on to that tag end, and I'm going to clinch that line right down to the hook, cut off the tag end, and we're ready to fish. Let's call this method number 3. Again, holding the line in my left hand exactly the same way. In these 2 fingers next to my palm, thumb and pointer finger. This time, I'm going to bring in a pair of forceps, common tool for fly fishing. I'm going to do the same thing I did in method 2, but I'm going to do it with forceps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 twists around that line. I'm going to open the forceps, put the tag end in the end of the forceps. I'm going to grab a hold of the fly with these other fingers, pull the tag end through. I can then let go of it once I've got enough distance through. I'm going to moisten that line. I'm going to clinch it down, cut off the tag end, and I'm ready to fish. Folks, here is method number 4 for tying the clinch knot. I've already strung the line through. I'm going to have about 5 to 6 inches of line in between the eye of the hook and each of my fingers. I'm going to hold those in the pointer finger and thumb finger. As I bring my hands closer together, I'm going to simply spin my right hand, spin the line in my right hand. I might grab hold of it with my left hand there and give it another spin. So what's happening is I'm getting those wraps around each other, that line. I'm going to come right back through the loop that's next to the eye of the hook, grab hold of that tag end, moisten that line. There's definitely more than 5 wraps there. Boom, clinch it down, cut off the tag end, and I'm ready to fish. Here is the 5th and final method that I've utilized to tie the clinch knot, folks. I have my forceps, and I'm going to grab a hold and clinch down, pinch those down onto the hook, the bend of the hook of the fly. I'll use this method oftentimes if I'm tying on a very small midge, so I don't drop the midge. I've got it clamped into the forceps. From here, I'm going to hold the line in my left hand, my ring and pinky finger, my pointer and thumb. I'm going to hold tension, and I'm just going to do 5 wraps. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got my loop next to the eye of the hook. I'm going to bring that tag end right up through the loop. I'm going to move my fingers up, grab a hold of that extra piece, that tag end piece, moisten the line, firm it down, clinch that knot down onto the hook, cut the tag end off, and I'm ready to fish. Hey folks, there's 5 methods I just showed you to tie the simple clinch knot. It's what we use to attach our tippet to the fly. It's very common, one of the very first knots that we utilize. I appreciate you watching the video. If you found it useful, hit subscribe. You'll be notified when we have new content coming out. We've always got new content almost on a weekly basis. If you're in town, stop by the shop. We're here in Phoenix, Arizona. I appreciate you watching the video. I'll see you on the next one.